All right, I think we're live. Sunday Zen. Am I going through puberty? What even was that? What even was that? Am I back in 6th grade summer camp? Hey, how are you, Sally? Do you want to go around? Listen, Gen X, we actually went out and did stuff. And then I just read an article on Gen X, my generation, the greatest generation of sad miscreants. We got hit with the 2000 dot-com bubble and the Great Recession and never recovered. So apparently, like, Gen X now is entering retirement age. Some of them, the leading edge of them. Not me, of course. I'm eternally young. And they don't have enough, like, they have less than the boomers and less than the millennials have at their same degree of development. And I was just thinking, reality bites, son. Ashley and Lisa and Rebecca and Dana and Ruth Ann. This is a good Sunday live. Lindsay just simply says Jesus is Lord, which, look, who am I to disagree? You know, what did the Eurythmics say? Sweet dreams are made of these. Who has a mind to disagree? I travel the world, or who am I to disagree? Travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Gen X, the greatest forgotten generation, Alan. That's right. So today, I'm just going to take your comments. We're going to talk about whatever this moment arises. The thumbnail for this video was generated by AI in combination with I, meaning intelligence, in the form of Risa, my right-hand lady man. She's not a lady man. She's my right-hand lady. Can you say that anymore? I don't think you can say that. Sounds sexist. Melissa says, I can trace my Gen X weirdness directly back to HR Puffin stuff. That and Land of the Lost, which, by the way, very, very underrated Will Ferrell film. At first time I saw it, I was like, this is trash. Second time I saw it, I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. Very similar to my experience with Napoleon Dynamite and The Big Lebowski. My first viewing was always just like, what the fuck? And then subsequent viewings reveal the majesty of live action Chaka, okay? Doing psychedelics. They do some like cactus thing and they're all tripping balls by the pool. Greatest scene in the history of modern cinema, I think. Let's see. Hitchhiker says, you on Blue Sky. I don't know what Blue Sky is. Is that like Grindr? Because if so, then... By the way, the AI image of me is somehow balder than this. I don't know how they did it. This is what's scary about artificial intelligence is they take the impossible and they do it. I mean, notice how I've pronouned artificial intelligence. I call it a they because I don't know. Is it a he, her? Is it a they, them? Is it a it, that? Don't know. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and call it a they, thereby humanizing it and also androgynizing it. I don't know if that's correct. Ashley says, this moment studying for communications, don't know how to study for this exam. How do you study to do something that humans just naturally, communications? Although most married couples will tell you communication is not natural. The Dude Abides, Alan. The Dude Abides. One of my favorite movies. Blue Sky is a Twitter alternative. Why would I find an alternative to something I already fucking hate? I haven't really been on, I haven't tweeted in like over a year. I keep the account active. I'll tell you why. I keep it active so like crazy lunatics can keep tagging me and feel like they're accomplishing something in their life, even though I never look at it. Twitter is just a total cesspool. And I don't know. I mean, I'm on Threads, but I post there just because that's more my tribe of healthcare people. And I have like 100,000 followers on Threads, which is more than I have on Twitter. So I ought to just delete Twitter because I said I would do that, but in effect, it's deleted. Here's the thing. I just went back on TikTok for the first time in some months and posted a video. And I've just decided, who cares? Even though I hate TikTok too, I'll just post there. Why not? Anywhere people want to like interact and have fun, we'll do it. If we want to talk about awakening, great. If we want to talk about like, VPZD show stuff, we'll do it there. Who cares, man? None of it matters. It's all an illusion, but also real as a fucking heart attack. Melissa says, my first viewing of The Jerk was like, what? Every subsequent viewing reveals the genius within. All hail the prophet, Steve Martin. My first viewing of The Jerk, I only got halfway through, and it was only in the last few months. Can you believe I've never seen The Jerk? And I was just like, how is this a thing? And I 100% know that if I watch it again, I would be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Especially when he leaves his black family. You're just like, that is, like, you couldn't make that. You couldn't do that today. It's incredible. Sarah says, you did say that the only reason I got Threads was to help you get followers. Now, I use it now though for fun, share my hiking adventures. See, that's the thing. Get people hooked and then just bait and switch them. Go, you know what? You get me to 100,000 followers, I'll delete Twitter. But effectively, I'd already deleted Twitter because I don't use it. I only put things out on Threads. And it's not because I love Zuckerberg. It's just I don't love Twitter, and I just wanted to stick it to him. Let's see. Alan says, Jesus polishing his ball may be, oh yeah, the funniest scene ever. Apparently spontaneous and not planned. Of course. Hey man, nobody fucks with the Jesus. It's the best. What's your opinion on schools no doing? Jesse Zhang. Okay, what that means? Say that again. I'm not sure I understand that. Maybe it's a typo, or maybe it's some Zen thing like the no doing of schools, the emptiness of the doer that doesn't do when there's no doer. Sorry, Jesse says, a 2-hour late start during state testing season. Oh, is that happening? Because we have all that weird crap in the public schools my kids go to. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I'd say like the later the starts, the better for kids to be able to sleep, because I've done shows with a pediatric expert on sleep, and basically the consensus is later starts are better because teenagers in particular have a sleep-wake cycle that shifts late at night. So they tend to stay up later and get up later. That's just their natural thing. So we try to hack that by making them wake up early, and it doesn't work. They're just falling asleep in class. They're less attentive. Probably, who knows if there's more anxiety, depression, et cetera, because they're just not sleeping. There's a lot of correlative data. This doesn't say it's causative. That show that like sleep disturbances, lack of sleep is correlated with dementia later in life. And it's unclear whether not sleeping causes dementia or whether something about the mind that's tending towards dementia disrupts sleep and makes it harder to sleep. My intuition is that it's maybe a combination of both, in that, you know, one of the theories of sleep, like why do we sleep, is that it's a chance for the brain through these glial sort of sewage channels to actually eliminate waste products and consolidate memory and do all of that. So the less we sleep, the more this sort of chronic waste product buildup can happen, and maybe that's causative of some disease, or maybe it's a cycle where lack of sleep causes damage to the brain, which causes it to be harder to sleep. And then there's the genetic component. There's all the lifestyle stuff like high lipids, high blood pressure, smoking, all these things that can increase risk of dementia. And then there's the alcoholic type dementias, drug abuse, all that other stuff. So it becomes, there's no one sort of answer. It's this sort of pastiche, this interdependent, dependent origination, which I believe the Buddha was talking about 2,000 years ago. Hitchhiker says, Threads and Instagram is joined. If Instagram account is locked or suspended, so is Threads and vice versa. Hence, better to have a completely separate social media. I get it, Hitchhiker. The thing is, what if they got blocked and you just didn't go back? And that was that. Like, is that the end of the world? I guess if your livelihood depends on it, that's a problem. Otherwise, fuck social media. In a sense, it's like a blessing to get blocked. Yesterday, we took away my youngest kid's phone and then the oldest kid's phone, because we're like, you guys are just, you know, we used to do screen-free Sunday. We need to make it screen-free Saturday because they have these busy things on Sunday because it shifted. And they started reading books, which apparently Gen Alpha and Gen Z don't do really well, according to their college professors. They really have no experience. They just read these short things, these little summaries, these analyses. They're not used to reading these big, long books anymore. So they started reading. One is reading To Kill a Mockingbird. I think the other was reading 1984. And they just, like 50 pages in an hour when they are able to focus. So I'm not sure, you know, the distraction is a good thing for us. Let's see. Sarah got blocked yesterday on Threads for calling out a whiner, made a new friend in the process. That's good. If it's a way to socialize, great. I I don't like it. I don't do it. I just post there and then I run away. Sometimes I'll read the comments. I mean, I'll read the interaction, the comments aimed, because on threads, they're generally polite. Not true on Twitter. Twitter, for some reason, has gotten enriched in like these weird, almost bot-like kind of far-right trolls. I used to get trolled by the far left on Twitter, and now I get trolled by the far right. It means I must be doing something right in the alt-middle, free from the extremes. Alan Tasbler says, the bassist in our band is Donnie. You know my common response to him. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. V.I. Lenin, Vladimir Ilyinich Ulyanov. That's true, Sarah. Without social media, you wouldn't get to see these lives. That's true. Unless you just, I don't consider YouTube social media. It's a video repository. Melissa's twisted brain heard Tequila Mockingbird. Pretty sure that's a drag queen's name. You know, there's this YouTuber who does these like interesting videos on Hollywood celebrities, and they showed up in my feed, and I watched the one about Jim Carrey's awakening, and I was like, oh, it was interesting. He's like, there's no Jim here. There's just, you know, stuff happening. I was like, sounds like you're either really awake or you're just parroting what Eckhart Tolle said. But either way, but they had one on Tila Tequila. Like, I was like, what? She's still a thing? Apparently she went batshit. Hi, Diana. Yeah, Melissa, poor Donnie, moment of silence. He surfed the beaches from Pismo all the way up to, no, it was San Diego all the way up to Pismo. Diana says, I just saw that you know Peter Attia. Dude, me and Peter go back to Stanford. We re-met at TEDMed in 2013. We were both giving TED Talks. And then isn't that the most fucking pretentious thing you've ever heard a human being say? Yeah, we reconnected at TED. We were both giving TED Talks. And then, you know, of course, our intellectual love affair blossomed from there. Yeah, this is kind of a social chat, Sarah, but it doesn't feel like social media where you're, well, it is. It is social media because you're looking for likes and comments and engagement. And yeah, it's all a trap. It's a trap, said Admiral Akbar, my favorite admiral. Let's see. Next to Admiral Stockdale. Do you remember Admiral Stockdale? He was H. Ross Perot's running mate in 1991. And when he did the vice presidential debate, his famous line was, "Who am I and why am I here?" And he was like vaguely demented. I was like, this is great. Admiral Stockdale. Hitchhiker says, that's a Neumann mic, expensive. This is at retail price, almost $4,000 microphone. And a few years ago, when I was doing a lot of music videos, I got it used for about $2,000. It was still really expensive, but boy, this mic is fucking so ASMR-y. Like, this is the mic that many professional studios use to record voice. So it's so sexy. So I was like, well, it's sitting in the closet because I don't make music videos much anymore. So why don't I use it instead of that Shure SM7B that all these fucking Rogan and these guys use? I'm like, I'm way more bald than Rogan, way more bald. My AI thumbnail may be balder than me, but I'm way more bald than Rogan. Emma says, playing poker with my 9-year-old in a hotel room, no distractions here, all good education. So you're gambling with a child. Thanks, Emma. Thanks for the child abuse. You know what? The therapy bills, don't worry. I'm sure from selling crack on the street, he'll be able to make enough money to pay for the therapy bills, to pay for the gambling addiction therapy that he has to have on account of your poker playing with your 9-year-old, paying attention to your child one-on-one without devices. How dare you? Diana says, that's why your voice sounds like you're in the room. That's right. I'm in the room where it happens. All right. So what's up on the, Scarlett says, I can hear your hair follicles with that mic. And there aren't even many of them. That's pretty impressive. Let's get it really here. Let's just get it. Let's really use the mic. Really put that phallus right up close. Hi, Rebecca. Barbara says the balder the better, at least in this case. I mean, right? So that means the AI is better than me. So what else is new? On this moment now front, which is the only front there is, Tell me your experience. Has anything been going on with you in your practice, if there is a practice, or your general experience of reality? I'm interested in that. Looking through some comments here. By the way, I have no idea why I went live today. I had nothing really to say. So I'm relying on you. I'm relying on you, and you are the universe. So why do I sound like Deepak douchebag Chopra? He's fine. He's doing his thing, man. He's making some money. Fabiana says, does burnout and depression mess with our thought process? The mind is going crazy. So burnout and depression, does it mess with our thought process? So, well, I'd ask a question. Can you have burnout and depression when there is no thought process? In other words, when a thought or a belief or a story isn't playing in your head. In the case of depression, it's often regret about the past, or hopelessness about the future, or being stuck in the present in the form of just pathologic sadness or grief. And it's almost always going to have a running dialogue, a running narrative. I'm worthless. Things will never get better. Everything's hopeless. This is a story. So burnout's the same thing. Like, oh God, I can't even go to work. I don't care about this anymore. I'm totally detached. My boss is an asshole. I picked the wrong career. Things have gotten so bad. All I do is treat the computer, not the patient. So all that may be relatively true, right? But it's all, in an absolute sense, it's all thought. It's all just appearance in consciousness. So this is the magic of this moment, which is all there is it's always here, free from all of that. So yeah, you may have an emotion in the body that you would describe after the fact as sadness, or you would describe after the fact as some feeling of burnout. But if you just drop all those labels and pay attention to the raw feeling in the body, that means you got to get out of this. Attention drops from this into the field of sensations. And that includes emotion body, physical body, what we're calling physical body, which is a story. It's really just this indescribable set of sensations. And see what that is. And then, is there burnout and depression in that space that isn't a thought process? So the question was, does burnout and depression affect our thought process? Yeah, it's a loop, but the burnout and depression are our thought process. They're almost identical. Without that ruminating thought, or even deeper belief that doesn't feel like thought, but it is still this kind of idea thought, conceptual thought. Is there burnout and depression? There's just what's happening in this moment, perfectly unfolding and falling away, totally impermanent, and not even in time, and not even in space, because if you close your eyes and you try to find where a body sensation is, there's no location apart from a thought that says my hand is here. When that thought drops, it's just handness. And then when the thought of hand drops, the label drops, it's just thisness. It's just what it is. If anything, awakening is simply everything just as it is, without the conceptual overlay that's believed to be truth. You can still have thought, but you just don't believe it anymore. You see it for what it is, just another ephemeral, radically transient and impermanent appearance in the indescribability of this moment that happens to be awake somehow, happens to be self-knowing, doesn't require a knower, doesn't require a view, but it accommodates all your views. It accommodates the knower, this sense of a person here. So we don't have to reject that. We don't have to say there's no person here. We could say, oh, there's the appearance of a person here, but we don't have to believe it. It's like watching a movie. It really is. Like, this whole thing right now is playing out mysteriously, perfectly, interdependent with everything else that's playing out. And there's nobody doing it. There's nobody viewing it. There isn't even a witness of it. Even the witness collapses into just this, just what's happening by itself. It doesn't even need anything to be aware of it. It just is. And if that sounds totally batshit, no worries. But that's, honestly, that's probably the best I can do to describe what an awakened experience of reality is like. And these are words, so they don't even really make sense. Diana says, if you need to use your mind, how about the thought process embodied in Stoicism? Well, yeah, and we do need to use our mind because our mind is a tool. In other words, in order to function in human world, which is thought-based and conceptual and needs labels like car, microphone, computer, you use, like, thought will arise, and you can use conceptual thought as a tool to make sense, make distinctions, keep yourself apparently safe, all these kind of things. So that's fine, but you don't have to believe it is real. You can say, oh, okay, this is the interface that we have. This is the game of human consciousness, but ultimately it's free from all of that. Ultimately, what you are is not describable, not knowable. It's a vortex of phenomena orbiting around a black hole of the deepest, darkest mystery. And it's eternally like that, not in time. It's always that. So all of this is like a fun little blip, like a, yeah, quick little film reel. So the Stoics were basically saying, hey, you know what? Their philosophy was pretty awesome. They say, hey, you don't have to be reactive with your emotions. You don't have to believe them. You can just allow. It wasn't saying have no emotions. That's like a misunderstanding of what the Stoics were saying. They were pretty clear, pretty advanced. There were some theories that actually some Buddhist thought influenced the Stoics, but who knows, right? Yeah, Rebecca, where's the sitar music exactly? Whenever I talk like that. Diana says, which thought process method do you like? I don't know, because I can't control my thoughts. So my first thought process is to realize I have no control over my thoughts. They arise. All that seemingly can be done is to accept them as they arise and not believe them at a deeper level, at a deeper energetic level. And you know what? That's not thought. That's an energetic shift that happens. It's an energetic knowing. And when I use the word energetic, just hold it lightly. It's pointing at the same thing I was just saying, these phenomena that just feel like vibrating energy. It'll sound really woo-woo, but you can actually just experience it yourself. Don't listen to anything I say. I don't know what I'm talking about. I really don't. I don't know anything. I don't know anything you don't know, because all the concepts are useless here. At the best, I can try to point to my own experience of that, the radiant nowness of reality that feels like energy. And so awakening is like a shift in energy where instead of being the energetics of you, apparently, are caught in this idea of you apart from everything, it collapses into just everything. And so that's not something you can think your way into. Now, some thought processes probably result in less suffering than others. That's why meditation, where you're generating good feelings and thoughts for others, you're literally trying to change your thinking, which I think, maybe there's something there, because a lot of thought is habit pattern. It's like you generate these habitual thoughts, and you can probably break those habitual habits of thinking for sure. And therapy can help with that. Different types of therapy can help with that. So I shouldn't say you can't control your thoughts, although it's true, because there's no you doing it. It's like the whole orchestration changing the habit pattern of thoughts, but it'll feel like a you, and that's enough. So let's operate in that world and say, yeah, you can change your thoughts. Therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, all these different ways to kind of take negative loop patterns of thought and reframe them and reshift them. Yeah. But in the end, for me, it's like, I just notice when I'm caught in thought and I'm believing thought, and then I try to drop back into this moment, and it happens again and again and again and again. And you have to do it again and again. And sometimes I just let myself get lost because it doesn't matter. I'm not suffering. It's okay. Let's just let it go. Who cares? There's no should here. Jesse says, how do animals conceptualize the stuff in the real world? Well, we don't know what if they have thought, or if they have conceptual thought that's nonverbal, or if they're communicating with each other in their version of verbal. But it does appear, if you watch a cat, say, or let's stick with a cat. If you watch a cat, how it moves, how it behaves. Most people who've touched into awakening or some degree of a big shift in that level will look at a cat and go, yeah, it's that. That's moo. That literal meow. That's the Zen koan moo. It's just exactly what it is. And so it just moves through the world fully in the moment, doing what the next thing is that its impulses say it should do. And actually, if you examine your own behavior, if you look really at why you do what you do, you'll realize it's free from thought. It's just happening, and then thought comes afterwards and justifies it. It's the old thing we used to talk about, right? The elephant and the rider. The elephant's that unconscious mind, and the rider is the thinker and the conscious mind on top. It thinks it's got verbal, it's got all that. It thinks it's running the show, but really it's just doing what the elephant is autonomically doing, and then justifying it after the fact with words and concepts. And fMRI data bears this out. You've made a decision like up to 6 seconds before you're consciously aware that you made this decision, and then you come up with a reason why you made it. It's already happened based on causes and conditions beyond you, interdependent with everything that's ever happened from the Big Bang or beyond the Big Bang. Yeah, hold thoughts lightly, Joe. Let them pass through. That's a good way to say it. Melissa says, pure unfiltered stream of consciousness is automatically closer to truth than pre-thought out writing vocalization. Let it flow, Z. Yeah, and I'm, again, it's like, what even is truth? Truth is whatever is, I can't say what truth is. You can't speak what truth is, but you're it now. You can touch it. It's not conceptual, but all conceptual activity occurs in it. Yeah, the reflex when you step on a nail, Ashley, you remove your foot before you even realize what happens. But even like there are experiences you can have in meditation with psychedelics where the doer of anything you're doing drops away and you realize, oh, these are just impulses that arise. The organism is acting on them. Even complex impulses like romantic love and complex behaviors. But then thought arises almost as a reflection of this. So in a way, the universe is living you, and then it's creating this illusion of a you apart from everything that's doing all that. It's really quite miraculous that that illusion can even happen. And yet it's happening now, isn't it? Pretty amazing. But again, so if the problem is what's wrong with me, you can realize, well, what's wrong with you is you don't exist in the way you think. And when that relaxes, then there's a flow and a perfection to the unfolding of every moment. And that flow and perfection is always and already perfectly this. It's that. It's exactly that. Nothing more or less. And then all the questions just fall away. It's like, oh, okay, those are thoughts. Great. We're conditioned to ask questions. Great. Human consciousness wants to know, no. Wonderful. No problem there. There's no answers for you, though. There's nothing in thought that can answer anything. No thought that's objectively true. Hi, Pagan. That's a good name, Pagan Sky. Sounds like a old Tom Cruise movie. What was that? Vanilla Sky. Hey, Dennis is here. Showing up late. There you go. Good to see you, Dennis. No supporter Zoom meeting this week. I have to get a bunch of videos ready for release this week. We're going to put out the videos about my psychedelic experience with a guide that I interview named Mira Funk, who's amazing. So stay tuned. Probably Wednesday, I think we're going to release that. And we're going to start with the video talking about my experience with the 3 medicines we did, even though that was the 3rd video we recorded, and then go back to the first intro video describing everything. It's pretty intense. Yeah. I probably have to go soon. I'm supposed to bring groceries home, but that's all right. Let's hang out a little more. Anything else on your mind? I can wait. Yeah, Risa says excited for the release of the psychedelic video. Yeah, it's a great video. She's seen it. Great meaning like, I don't think anything on YouTube has been done like that, where 3 of the most powerful psychedelics known to man were done by me over 3 days, and then I immediately make a video about it with the guide that was there serving me the medicine. This happened a while ago, but we waited to release it. I wasn't sure I was ever going to release it, honestly. It's kind of intimate, but you know what? If it helps one person who feels called to do these things and they don't know where to start. Pagans listening and learning. Sarah says it's 20 degrees in Southern Ontario, so the only thing on my mind is how gorgeous it is. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous out here too. All right. Yeah, so this Wednesday, we'll release that first video. In the meantime, I'll let you guys enjoy your Sunday. Alan wants to see it happen live as it happened. Oh, you don't want to see me curled up in a fetal position, sucking my thumb and crying. Maybe you do. Jesse says, do you think that there's been any point in time asking people to sacrifice for the greater good has led to anything positive that benefited others? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything. It's a good question. I have no idea. I'm not smart enough to answer that question. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out on Sunday. Enjoy the AI thumbnail. I'll see you Wednesday with that show. If you're a supporter, we'll probably do a supporter show before that. You can join the supporter tribe pretty easily. Patrick says, did you drool? Oh, no, I didn't drool, but I probably screamed and, I mean, you got to watch the video. I don't want to give it away. I'll just say like, watch the video. Okay, thank you, gang. I love you. I'll see you next time. And we are out. Peace.